are always looking for something new and different, and they want to see, at least I'm hoping, they want to see a writer develop and do some different things, and I certainly want to do different things. I'm always looking for a challenge in what I'm writing.
Do you ever think about writing it under a different name because it was so different?
No.
Okay. All right, just curious.
I actually did think about my upcoming thriller, writing it under a different name, but decided to just go with what it is, that kind of thing.
So you're not really concerned about losing audience because you just assume that people will have to look at the book and say, oh, this is written by Libby Fisher, but it's not an Ellie Foreman or whatever.
Right. I'm not too concerned about that. I mean, if I were John Grisham or Michael Connelly, maybe I would be, but I'm not at that level, so I don't think I need to be too concerned.
Well, I find it to be a very significant novel. I was blown away by it. I mean, I knew you were a good writer, but it was so different. And we thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks very much, Libby.
Yes, thank you.
We'll probably see you again.
I hope so.
Now, take a look at some titles by Miss Hellman, and we'll be back in a minute. Now we come to one of our favorite topics. Wherever we go, people ask our advice. They ask us for tips. Do we have any, Ellen?
Well, I've always, my approach to writing tips is that the most important tip that you can offer anybody about authors is, and writing tips, is to beware of writers bearing tips. Once you get that out of the way, then yeah, I think we have a few things that we could add. Kent, would you like to start?
Yeah, the problem with writers' tips is people start to take this as, the law.
And it isn't.
But the first tip that I would offer to anyone is, and I offer it out of my own experience because it's really what, when I was working full-time, helped me develop as a writer, and that's to establish a time of day every single day that's your writing time. And it doesn't have to be hours. It can be as little as 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. But if you stay connected to the process of writing by keeping that time reserved, in the end, I think that you'll end up actually having completed projects, and you'll find that somehow that time begins to expand. You're able to add a little bit more to it, a little bit more to it. Mm-hmm. That's my first tip.
That's a good tip.
Okay.
I think that persistence is important, and that kind of goes along with what you were just saying. That if you're going to be a writer and you're going to sell books or stories or whatever, you have to keep doing it. Yes, you get rejections. Yes, you get people give you different ideas, but you really do have to keep on doing it. Keep on going down that road, putting one foot in front of the other, to coin a phrase, or you're not going to get there. You're just going to have a lot of empty pieces of paper floating around.
Okay. All right. This comes out of my own writing experience too, and that is don't perfect. Don't go back over chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 and perfect them, everything about them, until you move on to chapter 4. You'll never get a book done if you spend your time perfecting. You have to constantly be moving forward. Sure, you're going to see things that you want to change. You may not even start the book in the same place when you're doing your second draft as you do in your first draft. But the most important thing to grasp is that there's not going to be a perfect first draft, and that the best thing you can do is to get that book done so that you have something to look at as opposed to just pieces.
Yeah, one of our favorite writers on the topic of writing, Stephen King, talks about writing, staying ahead of your self-doubt and all your second guessing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
want to say that wherever you are in your writing career, or even if it's not a career, it's a part-time or even a hobby, that you need to know your audience. And I don't mean by that necessarily your readers, but you need to know your audience. I talk to so many agents and so many publishers who say, I get all of this stuff that's not for me. I don't publish science fiction. I don't publish fill in the blank. And whatever it is, and I keep getting all these things. It's a waste of time. Agents say the same thing. Do the research. Find out what it is, who it is that you're going to talk to, what they're looking for, and if you're not writing that kind of work, don't send it to them.
Good point.
Another tip that comes out of my own experience, again, I tried to write while I was working full-time, and so I had specific times to write. Took a cue from Ernest Hemingway. Never use up all of your energy in one session. Always leave yourself at the end of your writing time knowing what you're going to write next, so that when you sit down again, you don't have to think, what comes next?
You know, can I just piggyback on that a little bit? I did that once, and I stopped in the middle of a sentence because I'd read somewhere that was a good thing to do.
And then you forgot.
Right. The next morning I got up and I couldn't remember what I was going to say.
Well, that's a little radical.
No, it's
In the middle of a
not.
sentence.
Not with my memory, believe me. For what works better for me is to get back into the next day is to go over what I have written the day before.
Well, you know what? We're done. We're all done. Thank you, Libby. We're going to do some more programs. We have several interesting things upcoming, but we want to thank you all for watching very much. You can find additional information about us at our website, of course, which is www.minnesotacrimewave.org, where you'll find links about previous programs, and you can go to not only the Crime Wave website, but to our individual websites, because now with all of the different social networks going on, you can find all kinds of things and all kinds of links. Anyway, you can also subscribe to our occasional newsletter. Questions or comments eagerly received. Email us at minnesotacrimewave@yahoo.com. And be sure to mention the number of the program you're writing about. This one is episode number 21. So, we'll see you next time, and as always, read more mysteries.